I'm going to ask the judge, what is it that's in the film that's incorrect? I look at where my life's taken me and I've asked questions all the way through this. I've asked myself many questions. What am I doing? Am I doing what's right for my kids? Is this right? They're going to see their dad back in jail. Is it right? Whatever could happen in jail, they'd be left without a dad. Is any of it right? I believe in my cause, wholeheartedly. Just for the record, my statement to the judge is, do I have contempt of court for Justice Nicklin and his court? Oh yes, 100% I do. And I get, you know what winds me up? I think all these clowns saying it, yeah? Who sometimes they rise up and then they disappear, yeah? Most people I've met, every English Defence League regional organ had a mental breakdown, every one of them. Yeah? So I watch people come and I watch them go. They never stay the line. Yeah? So all the wankers who call me out, and they're all going to come out from under their rocks when I go to prison now, yeah? Because they always do. But you've had your opportunity to lead. I say it to people, keep asking me to debate these certain people. I look at them and think, who's this dickhead? Yeah? What's he actually done? He hasn't done anything. Why would I give my time to someone whose ideas I find repulsive? I watched this one gentleman, and he's standing with a white girl, and she's got a mixed race baby. And he says to her, yeah, I'll deport your baby. That's what he said to her. Yeah? And I looked at him and thought, you fucking shithouse. Because you wouldn't have said it to the dad. I know you wouldn't. Looking at him. Yeah? I said, but you'd deport her baby, would you? Why would you deport her baby? Listen, if you know my upbringing, many of the people I love, many of the people when I had the English Defence League, when I'm in trouble and I'm calling, they ain't white, yeah? But they're British and they're English and they love this country and they love me and I love them. So I think, you think that you're just going to round up every non-white person, do you? Every one of them, babies and all, take away from her mother. And then what they do, and then they try to guise it and hide it a little bit. But I've watched every video of it. I saw Mark Collette crying when someone was putting on him. I thought, leader, this fucking bloke is who you want people to lead. Look at him, right? And then I look at Mark Collette and some of these people. Mark Collette's a very educated man. And it pisses me off. Because they take the working class kids who are angry for a righteous reason and they direct them down this path, which is dangerous. Do you know where we are now? About 5 miles that way. I went the other day. You heard of Charlie Big Potatoes? Look Charlie Big Potatoes up. He was one of these pricks, right? He used to give me a lot of shit. And I got on the phone to him because I said, you're a shithouse, basically. Because he was in Spain, which is what I'm doing now. He was hiding in Spain. And he was on the whole Jew thing, yeah? But not just the Jew thing, every non-white person. So I spoke to people who knew him in his home city because he was giving me shit. I said, I'll give a shit. I'd say, come back to England, you shit house, yeah? So I found out last week. He was nicked in big counter-terrorism raids here and deported back to the UK. And I see people like this, angry British people, not really with anger, but the ones controlling them I find with anger. Because they're getting led down a path, which is a dangerous path, where they can sit in a pub and have a conversation, thinking they're around mates, who are goading them in, hope not hate them in the middle of these meetings. They might make a stupid comment and they're banged on terrorism charges. So Charlie Big Potato's got 8 years. He's on solitary confinement. He's left a wife out here with 3 kids. She's then had to find work. When she's found work, she's left a little baby who's 18 months with the other brother and sister. She's stuck. She's in a bad position. The baby's got out the door. She's come home. He's dead in the pool. So Charlie Big Potatoes is on solitary confinement for talking words. Yeah. My heart break. I don't like the guy. I didn't like the guy. I cannot fucking imagine what he's going through. He had to watch on a live stream as his 18-month-old baby. Now the pathway to that position is these leading cunts. Excuse my language. It's the Mark Colletts. It's the National Action. It's the people who are all middle class that are the ones leading them. He never gets a nicking. I see many of these groups as honeypots, and I see them as government. I do. That's how I believe they are. And I see the vulnerable working class with righteous anger taking a direction that they didn't have to take. So I have conversations. People say, why do you always argue with these people? Because there's another lad now. Another lad, what's their name? Youth Alliance. I met him at a demo. And again, what I say to him is, he's giving me shit all the time, yeah? He's been totally taken in by them. That's dangerous, bruv. I'm telling you. It's dangerous. Because he's just a young... I know lads that know him. He's just a young lad. He's a lad. A young lad. I called him out. I said, do you wear a mask? How old are you? When I was your age, I started the English Defence League. And I live in Luton Town. And I walk the streets of Luton Town every day. And I went into East London with my English Defence League hoodie on. With 20 of us. I said, so you cowards that call me out about Mossad, I wouldn't be going home, I wouldn't be crying now, I wouldn't be shitting myself thinking I'm fucking going to be locked in solitary confinement or possibly killed in jail if I was a sellout to my nation. Yeah. So I look at them and think, you can't organise a demo for your FNAP movement. Because what's your Nick Fuentes, your leader, the whole of America? What did you get? A fucking 1,000 idiots. That's it. That's your movement. Right. You think you're calling on people not to vote for Trump? You think you're that influential? No one's listening to you. I'll tell you why no one's listening to you. Because the vast majority of British people don't hate anyone on the colour of their skin. That's what they've wanted to create. You saw our event. Do you know the best speech I thought? The best powerful speech in that event was the two Indian, but they look black, brothers, who done poet art. And they said, our blood may be Indian, but we're British. We've been nowhere else. This is where we're born. And we will fight for this nation. I don't know what, if you want a cohesive society, if you want it to work, how are you ever going to get there with dickheads saying they're going to deport some little baby because he hasn't got totally white skin? So for me to entertain myself with these morons, I've been through 10 prisons, yeah? I'm divorced. I've been living on my own for 3 years in about 10 different cities. These dicks have done nothing. They've done nothing. Sit on Twitter. I said, what are you going to do? Go type some more shit. I said, what I'm going to do? I'm going to lead a movement, yeah? And I'm not going to stop leading that movement. And even now, if I go to prison, which I knew I was going to prison for it, I still made the decision to do it. I made the decision to do it because it brings more awareness to our cause. And when I get out, I'll lead the movement again. Because I look at where my life's taken me and I've asked questions all the way through this. I've asked myself many questions. What am I doing? Am I doing what's right for my kids? Is this right? They're going to see their dad back in jail. Is it right? Whatever could happen in jail, they'd be left without a dad. Is any of it right? I believe in my cause. Wholeheartedly.
Let's end on the final question then, the prospect of prison. You could face a maximum sentence of 4 years for screening your banned documentary Silence.
What sort of world do we live in? A film. A film. I'm going to ask the judge, what is it that's in the film that's incorrect?
Is it contempt of court?
The contempt of court is for screening the film, yes.
Right. And the injunction, is that correct?
Yes, the injunction is from the court, and then if you break it, you contempt of court. So yeah, I do, just for the record, my statement to the judges, do I have contempt of court for Justice Nicklin and his court? Oh yes, 100% I do.
It's received over 53 million views on X alone. What's going through your mind and how are you processing this? Not
one single British journalist has commentated on it. What does that tell you? Think about that. It's the most watched documentaries come out of Great Britain. It exposes a corrupt judiciary, and you look at all the journalists who are alternative, yeah? On GB News, for example. Do you know what? The only people talking about it is us, like you, Lewis. Yeah? The only people asking me these questions is the ones who don't work for any corporation. So GB News paint themselves as this alternative free speech, like in Piers Morgan, uncensored. It's on 53 million views. I'm about to get jail for 4 years. Nigel Farage won't talk about it. He won't. It's got a daytime slot. I looked at all those journalists on there. Patrick Christie, I admire him. I think he does great work. But come on, man. At some point, you're going to have to talk about when something's so wrong. You have to talk about it. If not, what difference are you to the mainstream? How can you call yourself different? You watch a film, it's blatantly wrong. The whole thing's been a lie. If not for me, what about for Bailey? What about for the school teacher? What about for Charlie, who's lost a fucking whole career? You don't have to talk about it for me if you've got a little problem with me. Do you know the first Joe Alex Phillips?
Mm-hmm. Talk TV.
I just done a 2-hour discussion with her here last week. She was the first one. The first one. I said, no one from the mainstream or even the alternative mainstream has asked me this question about that film. You've watched the film? She said, yeah. She goes, they're probably scared, Tommy. I'm scared that I'm asking you about it. What does that say? What does that say to you? When I created Panodrama, not one single British journalist mentioned it. It's the biggest expose the BBC has ever been, with the most evidence. It's never been reported. Now, once it's not reported by the mainstream, it didn't happen.
Is it because they're worried about your name, or is it anything to do with that?
I'll just say it's because they're total cowards. That's what I'd say. That's to come a time. We'll see what happens when I go to jail. We'll see how many people talk about it. My hope is that I'm so glad Jordan Peterson watched it. I was surprised that he took the time to watch it and felt so strongly about it. I really hope that if I'm in prison, that we see Bailey and Charlie sat on the Jordan Peterson show so you can hear about their lives. Because it's like when I've done the documentary, this is such a bigger story than me. Do you know what the big story is here? If they'd done this about this one story, how many other stories that we're watching are total bullshit? How many? And if they can hide it, you have to look at non-disclosure agreements. Have a look at them in the NHS, in every government institution. Jesus, everywhere. So if there's anything they don't want coming out, you wonder why grooming was covered up for 30 years. They just pay everyone to shut up. They pay everyone to shut up. But while we're on this as well, I should have got my book out, shouldn't I? It's in there. trmanifesto.com. Gives you all the details. You know when I say they, tells you who they are. Tells you the story of everything that's happening right now is meant to happen. And unfortunately, if you're watching this, I'm in jail. That's also meant to happen. This is all part of the plan. The men that have just gone to prison for the UK riots, if you call them that, if you call shouting at a police dog a riot, if you call hitting a door on a hotel a riot, where the gentleman's been given 2.5 years, or someone saying you're not English anymore, you've got 2 years, 8 months. Those men had to go to jail. So I spoke to one of their wives. You'll see her on the documentary. I said, no, it's no consolation to you right now. In the scheme of our cause and our fight for Britain, this had to happen. The public needed to see this. They need to know the injustice. It's part of the mass awakening. So my imprisonment, that's the only way I can view it, is it's meant to happen. It's meant, whatever I get, if I get the maximum, it's going to struggle in my mind. I've got my head around 2 years. If I get 4, it's a long time to be sat on my own. But it's meant to happen because the effect of that on everyone outside, more people will talk than ever. It may scare them, but to waken people up, these things will happen. But as I said, new book, knocked Boris Johnson off the top shot, didn't I, Boris? And manifesto. So we worked on this for 5 years. Yeah? It's been a long time coming. The reason I say 5 years, it's an academic book with every bit of research, the footnotes in the back. So this isn't our word. They're planning to replace Europe's white population. They say it, not me. There's a 177-page United Nations document. Put the links in here that they're planning to get rid of you.
Tommy Robinson, thank you very much for your time.
We hope you enjoyed this latest video from Vox Populi. To watch the full video for free, please check out our website at voxpopulimedia.com. Thank you for your support.